Welcome back, Richland Center Wrestling family. It has been a little while since we've done one of these, but there's been a lot going on.
There has.
There has been a lot going on, so we are officially done with our in-state Freestyle and Greco seasons. We just finished up the state tournament run as well as the Northern Plains run. We sponsored or we hosted a Freestyle Greco tournament. Was that in April, I guess?
Yeah, 2 weeks before state.
2 weeks before state. That was a good time to get freshened up a little bit. Our kids to get out there and go. Freestyle was the state run was one like Richland Center hasn't seen in a really long time. I mean, I've kind of been on a high over that for the last couple of weeks yet, and talking to a lot of Richland Center wrestling faithfuls, if you will, and talking through what happened and how it happened, and I mean, I think there's some real excitement in the Richland Center wrestling community around specifically these youngsters that we got coming up through the ranks. Some of them entering into the high school next year. So you want to take us through our Freestyle state, and then we'll go through Greco state.
Yeah, so we had 6 kids compete at Freestyle State a couple weeks ago. We had all three of our 8th graders were in the finals. So that was awesome. Leading the way, Cashton Larson finished first place. Landon Kayaski and Aiden Ewing both silver there. Really good tournaments from all three of them, obviously. It was just awesome to see all three of them, especially Landon and Cashton back to back on the finals.
Right in the finals. Yeah, and so I mean, unpack that a little bit, right? So the 16U and juniors, Aiden is a late December birthday, so he qualifies for 16U this year, and then Landon and Cashton are 14U. So 16U and juniors went in the morning, and at the state tournament, you have to qualify or you have to place first, second, or third in order to qualify for Fargo. So that morning, Aiden put a pretty good show on. Obviously, he got to the semifinals. He won his semifinals match to get to the finals. And then, obviously, if you make the finals, the worst you can do is third, because they do have a true wrestleback in the Freestyle and Greco state. But to have him as the youngest competitor in the field of 16U that you can be, to qualify for Fargo at his first time through it. I don't know. We've had some boys in the past qualify for Fargo, but they haven't necessarily all gone. But probably Max was the last one, right, that qualified for Fargo.
I would imagine, yeah.
And before Max, it was probably a while back. So, like, this Fargo run, last year Maddie went to Fargo. That was our first person that went to Fargo for a really long time, and that was a big deal. And some of these really good programs around the state are sending people every year, and they have been for 10 or 15 years. And so to get a 16U kid qualified for Fargo, I had the chills going down just for excitement for Aiden and that Ewing family, and my adrenaline was pumping, and I was just jacked. And then all of a sudden the finals are over for 16U and juniors, and oh, crap.
We got to do it all over.
We got to start all back over for 10U, 12U, and 14U. And Landon and Cashton, your point, followed the path that Aiden took. Both of them made it to the semis. Cashton won his semifinal. Landon was down in his semi, and then a turn of events ended up pinning a kid to make it to the finals. And then, to your point, the 126, the weight class between Landon and Cashton, was a 4-man round robin. There was Hawk Garrett was there that everybody kind of saw him on the Matrix and went, whoop. So 26 was a small bracket where 20 and 32 weren't. And so Landon was in the finals at 120, and then Cashton, right, the next match, back-to-back in the finals is something pretty special for a Richland Center Wrestling Club, where it just doesn't happen that often, especially, there are schools out there that have it happen quite a bit. Ours has not been one that it's happened at in a while. So, pretty special day. That was it Saturday at State. That was a pretty special day. And then we had some more people competing there too.
Yep, Sebastian finished 5th place in freestyle. Leanne finished 6th, and then Blake Muller also competed as well. Did not place. Those junior brackets can be quite large. I think he probably had 30-some kids in there. But, yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And then the next day we got to come back on Sunday. So freestyle was on Saturday at state tournament. Sunday was our Greco day. So a bunch of these guys, Cash and Aiden Landon, have been wrestling down at Combat with Lucas on Monday nights since really, Cashin hasn't been there as much as of late, but they started, about a month before folk style season was done, I guess.
The beginning of March, yeah.
And so, those guys have been looking forward to this Greco season, as Greco is one that you don't necessarily, even if you are practicing this time of year, a lot of clubs don't necessarily practice the Greco aspect of it so much. So that was one that they were looking to go and get some Greco competition in.
Yep. So we had 4 athletes compete in Greco. Cashin Larson won that as well. So Cashin was a freestyle and Greco state champ. Sebastian finished 3rd place. And then both Aiden and Landon also finished 3rd place. So top 3 for all 4 kids that competed on Sunday at the Greco State Tournament.
And now this would be Aiden's second time qualifying for Greco. So he qualified in freestyle with a 2nd place finish on Saturday, and then followed that up with a 3rd place finish in Greco again at the Freestyle and Greco State Tournament. Top 3 place winners qualify for Fargo. So Aiden is now qualified for Fargo in freestyle and in Greco.
Yep.
And another, I guess, special thanks to that freestyle state day, especially was, Chad Stout was huge.
Yep. Coaching
these kids. I don't know how many bricks got thrown by Chad
He was right a lot
on Saturday. I can tell you how many bricks went against him that he didn't get correct.
I don't know that he lost one.
I didn't see, at least on our kids, I did not see him lose one.
Cards were got, but bricks
Cards were
lost.
gotten. There was a yellow card in one of them. And again, it's understanding the game, right? And especially earlier in that freestyle day and not so much the Greco day, there was one ref on the mat without, it's either one ref or 3 refs. And with one ref, they're going to get it wrong. And you have to be able to be confident enough to throw that brick. And Chad definitely, got some wins, or at least changed the dynamic of a particular match, that maybe you were down 6, he threw the brick, and now you're only down 4, right? Or maybe it was a 4-point move and it was actually only a 2-point move or whatever. So, it saved you some definite points throughout that day. It slows the day down a little bit, but let's get it right, and that coaching expertise there definitely helped us over that weekend.
Yeah, what an asset he is to have in our corner. Our kids have been going there for a little bit over a year now, and just the trajectory that they've been on in the last 16 to 18 months is just unreal. I couldn't think of a better guy to send our kids to.
Yeah. And then, so if that weekend wasn't quite enough, we got to do it all over again with Northern Plains. This one was a little bit different. Weigh-ins were Thursday night for Friday Greco. All divisions in Greco on Friday. The Northern Plains, if you're not familiar with it, is what they call a regional national tournament. So each section of the country has its own Plains tournament. So you get guys from across different states. Primarily for us, it was North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Illinois, and Iowa.
Nebraska.
Yeah. In Nebraska were primarily the kids that were there. Central Plains has their own. Western Plains has their own, Eastern Plain has their own, or Northeast.
Northeast, Southeast, and Southern.
And Southern. And so there's a lot of competition. Brackets got pretty big. They didn't seed this Northern tournament for Northern Plains for the younger kids. It did look like they did for the 16U and juniors. The younger kids, they really separated it by state, so you didn't run into the guy from just down the road first round. They tried to separate out by states, and that seemed to work pretty good on those younger guys. You're not necessarily seeing guys that you saw. So Friday, Greco was 8U, 10U, 12U, 14U, 16U, and juniors all together at the same time. We were thinking Greco was going to be a fairly quick day. They had about 1,000 athletes, or a little over 1,000 athletes. For Greco only on Friday, and we didn't get out of there till 5:30, something like that. It
long
was
day wrestling, but it was a good day.
It was a good day, and again, the kids came. The kids looked good. They got better in Greco, and again, I mean, Greco is one that you don't get to do all that often, even at the tournaments ahead of state. The competition level isn't always where you are, and so it doesn't. You might only go out and you get 30 seconds in a match, and you're done, right? And so you don't get a lot of experience there. Where, I mean, that Northern Plains, from what I saw this year, is and Northern Plains in total, they was in Rochester last year, and it moved back to the Dells. It's in the Dells this year, next year, and they had 1,000 more wrestlers over the weekend this year than Rochester had last year.
So I was watching WI's live today, and they were talking about the Centrals, and the Centrals has about 1,000 more kids than the Northern did.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
It's going to be a long weekend down there.
Oh, I could imagine, yeah, because they have World Team Trials that start tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, that starts tomorrow.
And then they lead into the Centrals right after that. But
Yep. So get on the Matrix, check the Central Plains out. It's definitely one that's on my list for next year to go and check out. But I guess the biggest thing that I got out of this was, the Northern Plains, the competition across all age levels was fantastic.
yes,
I mean, there were some really good kids, some really good matches. I mean, some of our horses in Wisconsin didn't place at Northern Plains or placed lower than what, you see some of those names that are lower. I believe in the Greco world, we only had 11. Wisconsin
total.
had 11 champions across all of Greco, and only 20.
I can't remember how many freestyle.
Yeah. So 11 out of all of Greco, and Richland Center Wrestling Club was one of those.
Yep. Sebastian got first place in Greco 10U. He's pretty jacked up about it.
Let's go!
Yeah, absolutely. So we had 4 kids compete. Sebastian got first. Landon finished third. Caston finished fourth. And Aiden Ewing, now he's a triple qualifier because he got 5th place. So at these regional qualifiers for the 16U and for the juniors, you finish top 6, then you get an auto bid as well. So that's 1, 2, and 3 qualifications for Mr. Aiden. He can only wrestle each style once, though. So.
Yes. But again, so the other things that this does for you is, number one, there are 4 Wisconsin slots that are open in your weight class. So if you qualify just at the state tournament, that's your only way getting in. If you qualify at Northern Plains and the state tournament, that bid, and let me try to explain it in layman's terms, so that spot gets moved out of Wisconsin's 4 and moves into the regional quota, if you will. So then that opens up a potential spot for another Wisconsin kid to make it via the wrestle-offs in July, which is great. Wisconsin, if we can get as many kids out there as possible, is a plus. So Aiden wrestling at Northern Plains and qualifying at Northern Plains, since he got 2nd or 3rd, I guess, in Greco, now that 3rd place spot is open. So now there's 2 wrestle-off spots because they keep so the top 3 at the state tournament auto qualify. They have 1 spot that they keep open for wrestle-offs. And so now with him qualifying in Northern Plains, it puts another spot open for a Wisconsin wrestler. So there's 2 spots at that weight class now that are open for Fargo at the wrestle-off.
Yeah, and obviously the more Wisconsin kids we can get out there, the better it is.
Yeah.
Plus, going to these regional qualifying tournaments, especially for the 16U and the juniors, it's only going to help your seed out there, and obviously you want to get about as good a seed as possible at those tournaments. When you have 200-300 kids in your bracket, you want to be seated as well as possible. So, absolutely. So, I mean, like you said, Central Plains probably on the radar next year, and I think you probably almost have to do those tournaments if you want to be seated well out at Fargo, even if you're already qualified.
Yep, and then so that was Friday. Once again, to kind of recap that, Sebastian Schmidt, first place. Landon Kajewski, third place. Cashin Larson, fourth place. Aiden Ewing, fifth place. Out there at the Greco side of Northern Plains. And then Saturday, we started off the morning with 8U, 10U, 12U, and 14U. So that means Sebastian, Landon, Cashin were all wrestling Saturday morning, and then juniors and 16U started in the afternoon and finished on Sunday.
Some of them started on
Saturday. Yes, they didn't all get to wrestle on Saturday because they tried to. Yes, we'll get to that. So Northern Plains freestyle results. Talk us through those.
So Cashin Larson finished fourth place. Landon and Sebastian both. Did Landon lose in the blood round as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so Landon and Sebastian both losing in the blood round. Both tough draws at those tournaments, and you're gonna run into those. Obviously, I think Landon ended up losing to the kid that got third place.
First round kid got third place, and he lost him 12 to 13. He lost by 1.
And then the second kid he lost to, was he in the third place match?
I think he was in the fifth place match, I believe. But.
Yep. And then Sebastian losing to both kids that got third and fourth place. Tough draws, but it is what it is. Take these losses now, learn from it, grow from it. Still a great experience. And then Blake Muller wrestled in the afternoon. Tough draw for him, but always good to see the kids compete. And then Aiden, once again, finishing 6th place, so another automatic qualifier. So
quadruple qualifier. The other thing that does for him especially at the freestyle world, where I don't know that he's going to do Greco at Fargo, but he's definitely going to go out there and wrestle freestyle. Now qualifying at Northern Plains, you get to pick your weight class. You can go either at the weight class that you wrestled at, or you can go up one. Where the state tournament, you qualify at that weight class. So now, if it's in July, so if Aiden grows any, he could go out to Fargo at 100 rather than 94.
Which that was the whole motivation for that. So he was pretty jacked up that he qualified there as well. Great weekend from him. So national tournament qualifications from those 2 weeks. Obviously, Aiden qualified for both freestyle and Greco for Fargo. I think from talking to him and his dad, it sounds like they're going to focus on freestyle from here until then, which I don't really necessarily have an issue with. I mean, you want to go out there and have as much success as you can, so that is what it is. But so he'll be going out there. That is July 9th through the 18th. He'll be towards the beginning. I believe they start with freestyle. So I believe it's a July 9th weigh-in, and then they wrestle 10, 11, 12.
Yep.
And then Cashin and Landon both qualified for the Wisconsin 14U National Dual Team. They will be going down to Florida in the Tampa area June 8th through the 12th, representing Team Wisconsin on the National Dual Team. I do not remember the last time we had a kid, let alone 2 kids, on a national dual team. So that is quite the accomplishment for Richland wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I don't know, you don't take those lightly, right?
No.
They take 2 kids. Some weight class, they take 1 kid per weight class. And, I don't know who else they took at Cashin's weight class. I assume they took 2 there, too. Again, Hawk Garrett's right in between them. I doubt they took 2 at 126 because of just how good he is. So my guess is they took 2 at 120 and 2 at 132. But, yeah, I mean, 2 kids at in the state of Wisconsin, at those weight classes are the ones that got invited, right? And so that is a big deal. Landon's jacked about it. Talked to Cashman's parents a little bit about it, and it sounds like they're pretty excited for it too. Some other area kids on that team, River Valley put 2 of them on, Boone Dilly, and then Colton Ockreiner at Landon's weight class as well. Both are on that dual team as well, so that's pretty cool to kind of go down there and have some familiar faces. I assume that there's a Grudenfeller on that team,
yeah.
and some of the other RT guys, it sounds like, which I'm not 100% sure who they are. They haven't announced the full team yet. I've been told through the grapevine that, it should be a pretty decent team and a competitive team. So if you look back 2 years ago, I think the juniors won.
Yeah.
The dual team won national duels. Last year's 16U won national duels. So, I mean, it would be pretty cool to put that 14U team at least into that gold bracket. I mean, that's the goal going down there. I don't know all the kids on it. I don't know who's on it. I don't know what everybody else has. But, the 14U is a little bit different than the 16U and the juniors as they wrestle both styles, where 16U and juniors have a Greco team, and then they have a freestyle team, right? And they can mix and match a little bit, but I think if I heard correctly, half of the 16U team last year wrestled both, and then they filled, the other half of each team in with guys that didn't. So,
Absolutely.
that's going to be a good time down in Florida in June to Coles. It's going to be warm. It's going to be hot. It's going to be a little muggy. But it'll be a good time.
Absolutely. So important things coming up here this summer for Richland Center Wrestling Club. June 6th, we will be doing a brat stand sponsored by Philback here in Richland Center. We will need volunteers for that. We will also need people to come out and come down, talk a little wrestling, eat some brats. It is free will donation. All donations go to the Richland Center Wrestling Club, which then we use to do things like help send the kids down to Florida and many other things. June 10th and 11th, we have our Richland Center Wrestling Camp ran by Tristan Stelt and Siler Zanjevich. Tristan, a current pit wrestler, 3-time WIA state champ. Siler is down at Wartburg. He'll be a sophomore next year. They ran our camp for us last year, and they did a phenomenal job. Those two are two great kids and two great
and they're great technicians, right? They're good technicians. They'll take time with the kids. Very personable. Yeah, get out and get signed up for that.
Yep, cost for that $75. That's 2 days, 3 hours, so 6 hours of mat time total. That also includes a camp T-shirt. So register for that sooner than later. We do have a cutoff for registration to get the T-shirt. Just logistically, obviously, it takes some time to get the T-shirts made. I believe that's towards the end of May there. So check that out. We'll be looking for that on socials. And then June 8th through the 12th, we have the 2026 14U National Dual Team, which we had mentioned that Cashin and Landon will both be traveling down to Florida to compete in that. June 25th through the 28th, 2026 USA Wrestling Freestyle and Greco-Roman Nationals. I do believe we'll have a couple kids down there at least.
Yep. That's 14U and below.
Yep, so 8U through 14U. So that's in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And then July 9th through the 18th is the U.S. Marine Corps National Championships, which Aiden Ewan will be competing. And then it sounds like we will be sending a couple kids to the wrestle-off, so we might get a couple more qualifiers out of that as well. We are planning some sort of all-club fun day in July. Sounds like probably at the pool after hours, just to get the kids back together, talk a little wrestling, do a little swimming. So stay tuned for more details on that. And then August 29th, we will have our golf tournament. So always obviously looking for volunteers for that, sponsors for that, and also people to come out and just have a good day out on the golf course.
Yeah, and with that golf tournament, I mean, it's our last big fundraiser. Kind of puts the close to the season, the 26 season, which, I mean, the next month, the 27 season
we get USA
opens right up.
On the 1st of
September.
So it closes that, and then 3 days later, we're looking at 27.
But that golf tournament is the one that really sets us up for a strong year, right? All of our big money items are in the rearview mirror come August, and it's really putting that money back in the bank account to be able to offer all of these opportunities to the kids. So if we can, get out to that golf tournament, put it in your calendar right now, August 29th. It's one of those things that golf tournaments, everybody's willing to golf in a golf tournament, but they really like to know, they really like to commit to it a week in advance rather than, months in advance. And I guess that's the one thing that's not always, but it's hurt us in the past of being able to run 2 shifts at that, a morning shift and an afternoon shift is just a commitment. So if you're hearing this podcast, put August 29th in your calendar today. If you're anything like me, make sure it's on the shared calendar so the wife knows that it's happening that day, and just put Richland Center Wrestling Club golf outing. Bring the whole family down, even if they don't golf. Maybe you golf in the morning, and then, a couple hours later, the wife and the kids swing in and meet you there. Hopefully this year we're going to have some silent auction stuff or some raffle stuff going on as well. So mark August 29th down in your calendar as the first big fundraiser that we have. And we would love if you do have a business. Obviously, we're going to talk a little bit about sponsorships coming up here after this. But if you do have a business that wants to sponsor, we'd love to chat with you about it.
Absolutely. So we are looking for sponsors for the upcoming 26-27 season. We try to put every penny of club money back into the club for the kids to wrestle and compete. We do our 6 club-sponsored tournaments for the youth. With that, we also pay for regionals. We pay for the state tournament. At state, we pay for the coaches' rooms, and we typically buy a meal for those coaches. Obviously, it's a big time commitment for them, so we appreciate them, and just something we do for that. We also for instance, for Fargo, we typically pay for that. For the dual teams, we pay for that. We also, these larger national, regional tournaments like preseason nationals, nationals out in Folkstyle Nationals, and then we have Badgerland and Badger Brawl and Northern Plains, and then hopefully next year Central Plains, and then Freestyle Greco Nationals. We pay usually the entry fee for all the kids that want to go to those as well, and also get rooms for the coaches, and typically provide them at least one meal. I mean, they're usually down there for a weekend, so if we can get them one meal, then that's great. Obviously, we need coaches down there for those kids. I think last year, unfortunately, Cashin, they decided to go down there quite late, but he unfortunately did not have a coach down there.
Right.
And that's those things we're trying to alleviate. And obviously the bigger financial burden we can take off the wrestling family and then our coaches that pour so much time and effort in throughout the year, the better. And obviously doing all those things, and then every year we continue to do more and more, it can get quite expensive. For instance, when we have one of our club-sponsored tournaments, usually we would average anywhere from 20 to 30 kids that would show up for that. That's anywhere from $500 to $750 just right there for one tournament. And obviously we do fundraisers and all that, but the golf tournament and these sponsorship tiers are really the biggest 2 advocates for that. So with that being said, we do have 2 different tier options as of right now for the 26-27 season. We have our Diamond Package. The Diamond Package is going to include your business logo on the 26-27 Richland Center Wrestling Club T-shirt. You'll also get your business logo on the 27 Wrestling Club Camp T-shirt. Special recognition during the youth tournament and youth dual tournament. Our youth dual tournament last year was awesome. A lot of teams there. I think we had 14 different teams there. I think from the success that we had from that, our normal youth tournament will only grow this year. Special acknowledgments for your business during tournament weeks on social media throughout that and the week leading up to the event. And then also includes your business logo on the official 26-27 Richland Center Wrestling Club poster. And then also includes a whole sponsorship at our golf tournament. So you get a lot of value there. The cost of the diamond package is $500. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, and I would just talk about it a little bit with that diamond package. The $500 does seem like a lot when you first look at it. And I would just break that out a little bit more on that. The whole sponsorship is typically $100, what we've done in the past. The T-shirt for the wrestling club T-shirt is typically $100 that we've done in the past. And then the camp T-shirt that we've done in the past is typically $100. So you're $300 in already on those right there, and then the recognition, the social media presence that you're going to get ahead of that. And I think, in this last year we've kind of proved out that social media presence with more and more people getting on the Instagram, the TikTok, the Facebook. The Instagram right now,
the gram,
is one that is huge for those kids. And so, I mean, that it's a one-stop shop. We're not going to come back to you in December, in January, and February. We want to get our businesses out there, our sponsorships out there and done for the year where we don't have to come back. And so that $500, I think, I mean, if you really break it down, it's probably about the same amount of money that you're going to be spending if we're coming back to you 2 or 3 times a year for the same stuff as well.
Yep, and then we also do have another package as well, the orange and black package. So this package includes everything in the diamond package, along with official sponsor and recognition of the Richland Center Wrestling podcast. So if you guys enjoy the podcast, special shout out every time we come live to you for that. Also, all of our live stream events, and this year we plan to hit the road. We plan to go to just about every varsity tournament that we can go to. It sounds like of the ones we went to last year, about the only ones that we wouldn't be able to cover live would probably be by state and obviously individual state. But every other one, it sounds like for the most part, we could bring that to you live on YouTube, obviously, so we could just grow Richland Center Wrestling. Everyone's busy. Can't make it down to Toma, Royal, Ithaca, or wherever the tournament may be, the conference tournament, sectional tournament. You can always catch that action then live on YouTube. Opportunity to appear on the podcast and promote your business if you so choose. Get dedicated podcast for that for you. Recognition throughout all of our live streams and broadcast events. Coverage exposure as we work through the live streams, and then not only varsity we'll be looking to do some JV events, some girls varsity events, middle school events, and even some of the youth events. So I think, like, for instance, our youth duel tournament, I think our goal is to try to bring that to you guys live next year on YouTube as well. As long as if we have a tournament and we have the equipment, we might as well throw it up there, and that way we can have as much wrestling coverage on YouTube as possible. Now, the cost of the orange and black package is $1,000.
Yeah, and so my 2 cents on that would be, you kind of alluded to it a little bit. So obviously all the varsity events, or as many as we can get to and broadcast at. Now we are limited to some of the smaller ones we go to. Do they have good enough Wi-Fi? Do they have good enough, internet to be able to do that? Or are they willing to give it up, as the world runs through USA bracketing or track wrestling, and you got to have that available to the table workers and the head table. So as many as we can get to, we're going to do that. The middle school, we kicked off a little bit of that this year with some of our home dual meets. We anticipate doing those again. The youth side of the world, we have, as Zach talked about, the youth duels that we would like to do that live broadcast on. We also have the qualifier this year, the state qualifying tournament at Richland Center, and so that's an easy button in my head to be able to live stream that event as well. And again, that gives it opportunities for not only grandparents and aunts and uncles and everybody else to watch it, but it also gives younger families or families that aren't sure if they want to necessarily wrestle in the regional or the qualifying event a chance to kind of look and see how that day runs and understand, a little bit more about it. And then the the podcast opportunity, right? And for businesses there, I look at, let us know what you're looking for. I kind of went to like if there's a restaurant or a bar and grill, for a live event at your facility, maybe kicking off wrestling at a restaurant where we can, invite out a bunch of our alumni and our wrestling community to your business and do a live kind of Q&A, if you will, or maybe just a live podcast from there that you're in, and we get a little bit of interaction from the outside world. Maybe you're don't necessarily have a brick and mortar, but you have an event that you're sponsoring or you're putting on in the summertime. Like, invite us out to a chili cook-off day or whatever it is, and we can do a podcast out there live that day from there. Like, we are open to ideas. You don't have to come to the studio and sit here. Like, let us make it as beneficial for your business as possible. And then those live events, right? Like, the live events, people are signing in from all over the state. Right, like, not to toot our own horns by any means, but it surprises me everywhere we go. In the wrestling world, people are talking to us about it. Not from Richland Center, it's from Evansville or River Valley or Mineral Point, we go to club practice and people make fun of us for there's the podcast guys, right? And they don't even go to Richland Center, so people are listening to these podcasts, at least the live events, the podcasts from kind of all over the state of Wisconsin. So if you have an online business or an e-retail business or even a brick and mortar spot that you get people from outside of Richland County to come in and buy vehicles from or buy used or, buy goods from, like, you're going to get a benefit from it. There's a giant reach, and I assume not a giant reach. Let's not get overboard, right? But the reach is getting bigger on our social media. I look for it to continue to grow at a pretty substantial rate over the next 12 months. That I think that you would get your money's worth out of just all of the opportunities that you're going to have your business out in front of the wrestling community. If you're in the service industry, a carpenter, a plumber, electrician, you're not staying in Richland County all the time, right? If you are, that's great. We got plenty of people from Richland Center, but if you're down in the Madison market, if you're out and about, like, there's the reach isn't necessarily just Richland Center, I guess is what I'm trying to get at there on that. And so, it takes a lot of money, as Zach talked about earlier, to make this go. We'll have the pizza fundraiser again next year. That was a big one, so look for that, come September too. But these sponsorships, the golf tournament, and these sponsorship packets are something that we're really looking to move forward and be able to give these kids more and more and more opportunities all the time. We took 6 kids to, let's say, Badger Brawl last year. We took 6 kids. It'd be great to take 10 or 12.
Yep.
But those are $75 a piece for entry fees, right? And so you take 10 of them, it gets expensive. You take 12 of them, even more, right? But, like, we're getting to the spot at Richland Center Wrestling Club that those kids need to be at those tougher tournaments. And it is brutal, and we've done it. We've done it plenty of putting your own money, the family's money, at $75. You can spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a year on entry fees. And so if we can alleviate some of that off of the family's back with the Richland Center Wrestling Club, that's what this is really about, is to give these kids the opportunity to go that maybe otherwise they wouldn't have that opportunity because they just can't spend the $75 on an entry fee and $150 a night in a hotel, right? And so if we can take some of that burden off the kids or off the kids' families, that's the end of the game. That's the name of the game that we're trying to accomplish through these. So your dollars are not getting wasted. They are going directly back into the opportunities for the kids. If you talk to the kids that have taken advantage of it in the last couple of years, I would venture to guess that they would be grateful for it, right? That's really all I have on that.
Yeah, absolutely. As much financial burden we can take off families. I mean, that's our whole goal here as a club. Provide as many opportunities for wrestling. Wrestling can be very expensive, and to do it the right way, it is very, very expensive. I mean, if you're serious about wrestling, some of these tournaments you kind of have to be at. Especially if your athlete has aspirations to wrestle in college, I mean, or world team or whatever it is, I mean, you kind of have to be at these tournaments, and sometimes they throw them all at you at one time and get quite expensive. So, yeah, our whole goal is to alleviate as much of that as possible, grow Richland Center Wrestling, and get us back to where we were once.
Yeah, so we will be back on probably sometime June for another episode of Beyond the Whistle. Some things just to recap to look for June 8th through June 12th. Landon and Cashton will be representing Team Wisconsin at the 14U National Duels. 16U National Duels, we're not 100% sure yet. Aiden did get second in freestyle at the state tournament, so that is still up in the air if he is on the 16U National Duel team. We have not got official word over that yet. That would be June 9th through the 13th. And then the kids, Freestyle and Greco Nationals, that we'll have a couple of kids going down to as well in Iowa, is the end of June 25th through 28th. And then followed by Fargo, July 9th is when it kicks off through the 18th down there. So we look forward to seeing all you guys over the summer with some of the events we have, the camp we have. Log in, check our socials for how these guys are doing out of state. It's an exciting time to be a Richland Center Wrestling Club fan. Right now we're getting there. We're getting there. It's going in the right direction. If you're seeing these families that qualified or did some of this cool stuff, send them a message, tell them how good it is. I mean, I don't know how many messages I got this week, about, oh, nice job. And it's like, I just give Landon the opportunity to go, right? It's their hard work that actually gets this stuff done. We just have to give them the opportunities, and those kids are willing to work as hard as they
can. And to your point, like that is, and I don't think we touched on this, but that is one of the biggest things that we provide for the club is we provide year-round training for Richland Center Wrestling Club members to go down to XL, one of the best coaches, especially in Southwest Wisconsin, if not the state of Wisconsin, and train with him year-round. And we've seen nothing but great things from that as well. And that is quite expensive as well.
Yeah.
So
it's great to see Richland Center Wrestling Club moving in the right direction.
We're back on the map. It might be small. It just might be a pinprick right now.
It might just be the size of Boaz right now, but
we're getting there. We're not to the Macedon yet, but
there you go.
We're getting close.
All right. We will catch you guys next time on another episode of Beyond the Whistle with Zach and Kyle.